Guys, Tomboy61, and today we're here in Crash Zone with the Belfast. I was having a little bit of a struggle getting those 10 Citadels needed for the hard mode challenges to get the new destroyers a week early, and I figured what better way to unlock a little bit of luck than to use the Belfast and just see if we could use that beautiful British AP along with some HE, but mainly focusing on the AP in order to secure ourselves the 10 Citadels needed. So this is me getting my 10 Citadels, and it's a pretty fun game overall. So plan for me is, well, Belfast has pretty decent range. What we want to do is kind of get to a central position. We have smoke, we have sonar, we have radar. We have everything we need to sort of hide out in a sector. We want to use the central islands sort of as cover. We know generally what will happen is a large contingent of enemies will get over to C. So if we can go ahead and establish ourselves kind of in a little stronghold among these islands and have a good view of C, we should be able to unlock ourselves some pretty decent crossfires. Aoba pops up there. We go ahead and realize we have HE load and we want AP load, especially to try to start off with those Citadels. Aoba, of course, you know, not the thickest armor on the side. So if we could have fired that off, it would have been a little bit of a benefit for us. But now we are kind of just searching for a target. Nuremberg pops up. He is not quite where we would have hoped him to be, but he does start to kind of turn in. We also see Leander has kind of positioned itself in the center of the B cap. We'll begin to keep an eye on him, but we're looking very solid for crossfire opportunities right now. Of course, we do have Genevi pop up, and when you have that ability to shoot at destroyers, we're going to go ahead and want to do that, just because if we can go ahead and hurt that destroyer, it will benefit us significantly. Nuremberg still looking like he's sailing straight on. We'll go ahead and fire a test round at him, see what kind of armor protection he's dealing with. We're also starting to get a little busy, so we can go ahead and deploy the smoke. This seems like it's going to be a pretty good spot. We're not really doing the spotting for our team, it seems, so we should have these beautiful hits and we can stop being the center of attention. Nuremberg gives us our first Citadel and continues to sail broadside. This is exactly what we're hoping for. He's going to have to stay kind of nose in because he's dodging those torpedoes right there. We get another Citadel on Nuremberg, and we're just slowly chipping away at his health right here, and this is exactly what we wanted to do. We've kind of dug ourselves in as a tick between these 2 points. We have smoke concealing us, and we are now able to systematically start kind of picking off and choosing where we want to start and engage these guys. Nuremberg, just a little bit of health left. He goes dark, and sadly, I think we just miss out on getting the kill on him. But we did take his health down, and given the fact that he doesn't have any sort of heal, he's pretty much taken care of for the rest of the game. Aoba, he's decided to sail straight this entire time. While we were engaging Nuremberg there, Aoba was full speed ahead and decided that it was not a good time to disengage. So now we are starting to see there's not much left. Nuremberg also sailing straight. Let's see if we can get the finish off and get the kill. Aoba starting to get at that extreme range for us. So, there we go. Nuremberg, we pick up the Nuremberg kill. Aoba just starting to be at the edge of our range. And once we get out there, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for us to go ahead and actually get the Citadels. But we're going to try to get the kills. We do see we have a Leander and a Battleship. Battleship goes down, and that pretty much gives us the all clear to start pushing in on this Leander, because we know we can absolutely start bullying the Leander. Of course, one of the downsides to Belfast is, or I guess one of the balancing factors you could really call it, is the fact that it does not have torpedoes. So you do have to very much make sure you keep a certain distance from people. We get our next Citadel right there on Leander. Exactly what we're expecting, because British ships, well, they don't have armor on the sides, really. And we know we can absolutely punch through it. So we're going to begin to pursue him. Get ready to use the sonar, just because we do know he has torpedoes, and they can absolutely be lethal. We're coming around a corner, and that is one of those things where you need to be careful when you're pushing around corners in this game, mainly because it is a choke point, and if you kind of take them in the most efficient route possible, you kind of hug the island, and that gives someone an idea of where exactly they should lay torpedoes. It can be even more deadly when you're dealing with British torps, because they do have that single fire ability. If you have a clever captain, you may have one that literally sets those single-fire torps like 5 seconds apart at the apex of the corner. So maybe even if he's blind firing, he sets one, it goes a little bit too early, and then you get hit by the next one. That's one tactic I've used a couple of times, and it seemed some success, and it's something you just have to keep in mind. Anyways, Leander, we're starting to come around on the corner here. We can see he's starting to sail away. We'll go ahead, get our guns on target. We finally have the all clear on those. Whiff a couple of those shots. He starts to turn in. He starts to give us broadside. That's exactly what we want. We're going to start to turn in just so that we're not as broadly angled. We hit with 3 Citadels right there. Next salvo out. And this Leander will not be around for much longer because sitting broadside to another cruiser, Leander does not do very well. Last salvo out, or not. Sometimes you think you get them, but here we go. Finally wrapping it up, and we can see those single fire torps right here, where they have a very distinct spread, which can be very beneficial when you need it to be. Anyways, we now see, one, we are capturing the B point. No one has gone ahead and taken C. This will definitely start to benefit us in the game. One, it will stop the enemy team from accruing any more additional points, and we'll start accruing double the amount of points. While we do have a healthy ship lead, you can always count on your team to very much throw away that lead. So good for us. We go ahead and secure it. We see the Weimar is somewhat out in the open right there. If we can get a good angle on him, if we can get within range of him, we will do very well. After all, we are at 9 Citadels, so we do just need one more. And we've been playing the Weimar a lot recently, given how strong it is. And we do know it does suffer from a lack of armor anywhere on it, really. So if we can get in position, and the current position that we are in, this crossfire will benefit us immensely if we can go ahead and execute this well, and hopefully take out a very high DPM ship that is currently on the other team, because that Weimar is very much a threat. We can see he's been very safe behind this island for the entirety of the game. We see that we are starting to draw attention to ourselves, so we're going to go ahead and drop our next smoke screen and start trying to pick off this Weimar. Of course, we are being spotted and unspotted. I think that may have just been, we kind of just snuck out of the smoke just a little, but for now, we're doing very good. Weimar trying to blind fire us. I do give him credit, because if you can find the spot where a ship is hiding out in smoke, you can absolutely scare the living daylights out of a captain when you're able to hit them in the smoke. As a kind of hint, if you see where they are firing, you'll see where their shells kind of start. Aim a little bit lower, and generally you can get in the area-ish of an enemy ship. Anyway, Weimar goes fully broadside to us, and we will take advantage. That gives us our 10th Citadel right there, wrapping the kills, or wrapping the Citadels we need, finishing off the challenge. So everything else we do in this game is extra, is potatoes. Sadly, the ship that was providing the majority of spotting, the destroyer, does go down, and we are nearly identical now on ships. Leon starts pushing in. Leon, not the thickest armor either for a battleship, so if he decides to stay broadside, we may be able to do some pretty good ship damage in the 35 seconds we have remaining in this smoke, and that's exactly what we're going to try to do. But Weimar pops up again, and that's going to be the priority target, right? When thinking about it, what ships do the highest DPM? Well, right now Weimar is one of the highest DPM ships. Thankfully, we knock out one of his guns there. It is going to be hard for us to target him just because he is he's very far away. Our shells do get floaty at range, but every shell we hit is another good thing. But sadly, we are starting to run out of smoke, and we are going to be a British cruiser out in the open with a Leon looking at us. Of course, Leon, fun fact, has one of the highest damaging alpha strikes in the game. It doesn't have very big guns, but has lots of small guns, and those small guns absolutely able to punch through our armor. So we are going to try to start to engage the Leon, but also try to get out and away, because he can absolutely damage us and do put some real hurting on us, because we may start to bounce these shells and we'll flip over to HE, but we can see his volley coming in, a whole 16 rounds, and they're going to be fairly well on target and take us down to 8,000. At this point, we decide, okay, he's at the edge of our range. We're going to go ahead and back off, start to disengage, and we're just going to go ahead and now fast forward through this part because you don't need to see a sort of start to disengage on this Leon and hide with our tail between our feet. But also, more importantly, we're going to make a tactical decision too. We can see our aircraft carriers kind of down below, and they have a much heavier enemy element up by sea. So we're going to go ahead, disengage, kind of start trying to protect our aircraft carrier. We do have a 2-cap lead, and this is exactly what we want to sustain. So here we go. We're disengaging now, and I'll fast forward to the next interesting part. So as you see, we've arrived down back where we were starting the game in this mid kind of play. This is where the Belfast very much thrives, and this is where we want to be. We are down to us in the aircraft carrier. However, the enemy team still hasn't captured C. So at this point, the plan is delay, delay, delay. There's only 2 minutes left. We have a nearly 2-minute long smoke screen. Let's go ahead, hide ourselves in the smoke. We have sonar, we have radar. We can absolutely see through it. We also have a teammate whose only job is to really spot, right? Aircraft carriers, that's all they can really do. This Shores is out in the open. We can go ahead, try to start sinking him, distract him, and hopefully if we can, while we don't have the most health, we can take out this Shores, it will definitely be beneficial to us. Enemy aircraft carrier, of course, drops his torpedoes on us. We're able to easily avoid them. We pop our sonar because we've lost spotting of the Shores. We've also had our sonar we popped our radar and we've had our sonar going just because we want to protect ourselves from any sort of shenanigans that are afloat. Shores pops into our radar range and we will continue to engage him. Now, hopefully the enemy is able to go ahead and, or our aircraft carrier is able to get some spotting overhead. We do see some torpedoes inbound. We go ahead, hit full throttle just because we think those might be inbound pretty accurately. And sadly, we start floating right out of the smoke. Of course, we do pick up the high caliber just a few seconds ago, and Shores starting to get down on the health. Us not looking too pretty when it comes. Shores looks like he might give us some broadside. Enemy aircraft drop their torpedoes, and sadly, we are not going to be able to outrun these guys. We do take the torpedo down just a slither of health, but there's less than a minute remaining in the game. We go down, but more importantly, we've successfully delayed the enemy as our aircraft carrier sails off into the sun. We've all but ensured that we go ahead and pick up the W, and that's exactly what we go ahead and do. And more importantly, we picked up our Citadels, and that's, I feel like that's the more important bit of this. Anyways, guys, that's this game. I hope you like it. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.